Well, you did such a good job of that, Lawrence, that we're going to give you a little segment here to give us your free agency reaction. Some stock up, stock down. So let's start with stock up, headlined by the former king and maybe king again, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I feel like this is a match made in heaven, getting Derrick Henry on the Ravens. I feel like this is a move we should have seen 5 years ago or something. You might have saw him losing snaps you did see him lose snaps to Tajay Spears, who became the pass-catching running back. But on a points-per-game basis, he outscored guys like Bijan Robinson, Josh Jacobs, James Cook, Tony Pollard, and DeAndre Swift. There's one guy who had more rushing yards than him last season. That was Christian McCaffrey.
I've heard of him.
You heard of him, and he's a damn good player. So for that to be the only guy that outpaced Derrick Henry, and you could call it a down year, but he averaged 4.2 yards a carry. That's okay. That's cool. The Titans didn't have a good offensive line. They were experimenting with a rookie quarterback in Will Levis. So the Titans' offense, it wasn't great. It was probably closer to bad than it was good. But for him to still almost rush for 1,200 yards and now get on this Ravens team where you just saw Gus Edwards walk out the door with 13 rushing touchdowns. Well, who you think that is? Who you think is going to be now? That's going to be Derrick Henry. The Ravens are not the Eagles or the Bills. They don't run Lamar Jackson on quarterback sneaks on the goal line. They don't run him. No, they give it to their run. This is what they got Derrick Henry for. So, I didn't expect to see him in Matthew's top 20, but I do expect to see him not far after that.
Yep, I think as well, just with the shift in offensive line situations. Also, it feels like Derrick Henry was 14th in the league in rushing yards last year, but he's actually second, which was, I think, just a testament to him. And also the fact that he does not get hurt, despite all of the carries, despite all the wear and tear. He broke his foot two years ago, but outside of that one isolated incident, the man just never gets hurt. Another picture of durability is Joe Mixon, who is second on your stock up, Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just kind of made a lateral move, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He went from one good offense to another. Now he's with C.J. Stroud, and they're building over there. If you just look at what Devin Singletary did from week 10 on, when he was the starting running back, he was running back 16 from week 10 to the end of the season. In that same span, Joe Mixon was the running back 3. So Joe Mixon is still doing his thing, and so now he gets in on offense where he'll be the lead back. They still have Dameon Pierce, right, but he was proven to be, not the guy when Singletary surpassed him. So I think his stock is even better now that he doesn't have to compete with a Jamar Chase in a T. Higgins, and he got Nico Collins, but still, it's just a good situation for him to have opportunities to score.
Yep, and Bobby Slowick, I think, has shown a commitment, maybe an overcommitment to running the ball, certainly.
There's, no question about it. For a guy that was looking like he was going to get released, and, he lands in a great spot in Houston.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Third guy on your list, Deontay Johnson, who the year of almost for Deontay finally breaks the touchdown duck, but not a great quarterback situation. Now, he's not going to a great quarterback situation in Carolina, but he should be clearly the number one guy in that passing offense.
Right, and I like it for him too, just based on for one, the player that we know he is. He's a 1,000-yard receiver when all the stars align for him. But we saw Bryce Young make Adam Thielen. He had his first 1,000-yard season since 2018. Right, he was the top 10 fantasy receiver through 11 weeks. So you give we'll all take Deontay Johnson over Adam Thielen at this point now. So I think it'll help Deontay Johnson, even though, like you said, it's not a great quarterback situation, but you're still working with a young guy who's got a new coach now. So their pieces are coming together small, but it's better than what they've worked with last year. So I think Deontay Johnson stock's on the rise.
Yep.
Look, I mean, we saw Adam Thielen was a top 12 fantasy wide receiver for the majority of the year last year, certainly at the beginning. And Deontay Johnson's better than Adam Thielen at this stage of their career. So we think, and Dave Canales being there, the offense should improve. Yeah, Deontay Johnson's going to make the love list this year.
Yep. Also, just no chance you would think that Bryce Young could be worse than last year.
Exactly.
Maybe
better.
he may be the same, but I think it's most likely outcome is that he is better in that offense.
Dave Canales was a good hire by that team.
Better offensive line as well. All right, let's get to some stock down. Lawrence, the 3 names here on your list: Tony Pollard, Gabe Davis, and Justin Fields.
Yeah, and I'll just go straight through with these. First, Tony Pollard here. I mean, it's evident. We saw what Tajay Spears did as a rookie last year. He's explosive when he gets the ball in his hands, especially in the receiving game. That's likely looking like a committee. We just talked about earlier how they're going to use Calvin Ridley like Jamar Chase, which would mean they would use him as an extension of the running game. That doesn't bode well for Pollard, we've seen he can catch the ball out of the backfield, but you got a guy in the backfield who could do that as well. I think that offense will be a collective of talent that contributes to that offense there. And next is Gabe Davis. Now, the funny thing about Gabe Davis is his contract would suggest, right, that he's their wide receiver too. But if you look at it a little more, the Jaguars' offense wasn't humming last year. It wasn't the worst offense in the league by any means, but if you're Gabe Davis, it never truly worked out to you becoming that top echelon wide receiver 2 in the league. So now you get the downgrade in quarterback there. And I still think not only do they have Christian Kirk, you got Evan Ingram, but I still think you got to compete with Zay Jones for targets as well. Like he's a good receiver when he's healthy. He could play. And the last one I'll talk about here is Justin Fields. This one kind of goes without saying. He'll start out as the backup. We kind of figure he'll probably play at some point this season. We just don't know when, because what would Russell Wilson have to do to keep him on the bench? Like, Steelers would have to be somewhere 5-2. Russ has got to be playing at least as well as he did last season, because the first mistake that he makes, the fans are calling for Justin Fields. So he's probably going to be the only backup quarterback that I put in my rankings. So it'll be like 32 quarterbacks. That 33rd guy will be Justin Fields, and you have to find a way to get him in. You just don't know where to play, but obviously the stock is down for now.
Yeah, no question. But I'll tell you, like, I think you see him play week 1 because I think they come up with a package of plays. When you think about Arthur Smith, what he likes, in terms of the mobility of Justin Fields, I think there will be a package of plays for Justin Fields where they use him. I was going to say wildcat, but he's obviously quarterback. But you know what I mean? Like, I think they will come in situations. Like, I think you could see scenarios where, because I felt like that happened last year in Atlanta. Even when Heineke was, quote, the starter, there'd be, Ritter would come in for a play here or there.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not quite going to be Taysom Hillish, but he might have some Taysom Hill type of packages. I feel like he has to be drafted just because there's a chance that you get to the fantasy playoffs and Justin Fields is the starting quarterback and is like in your rankings like QB5 in a given week.
Right.
And,
he's definitely getting drafted in
Best
2
ball.
quarterback leagues and best ball too.
For sure.
Yep.
He's definitely getting drafted in those.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.